Now that we've had enough theory about variables and what exactly a variable is, let's dive into the Arduino IDE here and talk about some of the data types. We've already touched on integers, and out of all the data types, you'll probably use integers the most. As you may know, an integer is a whole number, which can be either positive or negative. The value of an integer can range from negative 32,768 to positive 32,767. Integers take up 2 bytes of data, regardless of the size of the number that you use. So if you declare an integer 0, it's still going to take up 2 bytes. Declaring an integer is really simple. We could just type something like int my integer equals 800, or whatever you want it to be. However, you got to be careful to make sure an integer always stays within the range it's supposed to be, or really weird things can happen. For example, if we add 1 to 32,767, we won't get 32,768. Instead, it rolls over to negative 32,768. And this is because 32,768 positive is too big to store as an integer. And most data types will roll over once you exceed their maximum value, which will cause logical errors in your program that could be tough to find. So one of the main points here is that when you create any kind of variable, you need to have some idea of what type of value it will hold and how big or small that value will get. So what do you do if you need to work with a number like 62,543? That's where the unsigned integer comes in. An unsigned integer can only be positive, but its range is from 0 to 65,535, which effectively doubles the range if you know you're only going to be working with positive numbers. So if you live on a tropical island and you're logging the temperature, you know that you're never going to see anything drop below 0. So in that case, you could use the unsigned integer. And this example here shows how to declare an unsigned integer. Note that unsigned integers also will roll over, just like we talked about, to 0 if your program inadvertently adds 1 to 65,535. So be careful. Still need an even bigger number? No problem. Just use a long, which has a range of negative 2,147,483,648 to positive 2,147,483,647. And the example here illustrates how to declare a long. Now, longs take 4 bytes of data, regardless of size. Just like the other data types, a long will roll over if the value is exceeded on either end. And you can also have an unsigned long with a range from 0 to 4,294,967,295, like the example here.